Yeah, man, Scotland Yard. Yeah, don't play no game.
Yes, let's talk about the connection between Jamaica and Scotland. So when Jamaica gained independence in 1962, they were faced with the big question of how were they going to represent their flag? So this was the first design that Jamaica was considering making their flag, which I'm honestly glad they didn't. They had the meanings down, which was black representing the strength and creativity of the Jamaicans, which helped them overcome difficulties, the gold representing the wealth of the country and also the sunshine, and the green representing the vegetation and also the hope. Eventually, this man, Reverend William McGee, was on a missionary trip to Jamaica when he met up with the Prime Minister and he said, "Hey lad, you should design your flag based off Scotland's." So that's why, because of inspiration from Scotland, Jamaica became the second nation to feature the St. Andrew's cross on their flag. Thank you.
Have you ever heard a Jamaican speak and thought, wait, why does that sound kinda Scottish? Or maybe you have noticed how similar the Jamaican flag is to the Scottish one, just with different colors. Well, today we are diving into one of the most surprising, mind-blowing cultural connections in history, the deep link between Jamaica and Scotland. And trust me, once you learn this, you will never see either place the same way again. Make sure you watch to the end because some of these similarities will shock you.
You ever realise that the Jamaican flag, yeah? Imagine you eliminate the green, the black, the yellow, just the shape, yeah? And as blue, it's the Scottish flag. Jamaica, Scotland. What? Imagine if people in Jamaica talk with a Scottish accent but spoke with Jamaican lingo. Wagwan, me brethren.
So recently, thanks to 23andMe, I found out that I have relatives in Jamaica. And I'm like the least Jamaican looking person in the world, so I decided to look into the links between Scotland and Jamaica. So the first dates from 1656 when Oliver Cromwell banished 1,200 Scots to Jamaica. The English had a colony there. And the Scottish immigrants generally took up posts as servants to the English. And criminals were also exiled there. And later on in the 17th century, some people who had gone to colonise the Darien jungle, which I've done a video on, also arrived in Jamaica. The first wave of Scots to the island were sold as servants to the English. And interestingly, Campbell is the most common surname on Jamaica. And it's thought the first Campbell on the island was Colonel John Campbell. He had also been on the failed Darien jungle mission, and he decided to settle in Jamaica and set up a sugar plantation. During the 18th and 19th centuries, a lot of sugar plantation owners and overseers were Scottish. Not quite so good a link. And Glasgow was a large importer of slave-produced sugar. And by the early 19th century, over half of Scotland's linen was sent to the Caribbean to clothe the slaves and the owners. So my relatives might have been servants or criminals or people who were involved in slavery. But it's important to remember these things did happen. Ooh, I also went to Jamaica on my honeymoon. It was lovely.
Girl, I'm literally having a whole fucking moment. I'm having a whole fucking moment. Cause stuff is clicking. Stuff is clicking for me now. Stuff is clicking for me now. That's why patois sounds kind of Scottish. That's why patois has that Scottish. It has little Scottish sprinkled in there. That's why patois sounds Scottish. That's why you can kind of hear kind of little Scottish.
The story begins in the 16th, when thousands of Scottish people came to Jamaica. Some by choice, many through conflict, and others sent after political uprisings in Scotland. When the British Empire was expanding, Scotland played a major role in shaping the Caribbean. And Jamaica was one of the islands where the influence became deeply rooted. What is surprising is how quickly Scottish culture blended into Jamaican life. From language to farming techniques, to place names, to family names. The influence is everywhere. Even today, you will find Jamaican surnames like Campbell, Mackenzie, McFarlane, Reid, Gordon, Sinclair. These names are Scottish to the core, but extremely common in Jamaica. This is the part that shock people. There are words and rhythm in Jamaican Patois that actually trace back to Scottish Gaelic and Scots dialects. For example, listen to how both cultures drop certain consonants, use similar vowel sounds, and speak with a stronger melodic tone. Historically, many Scottish overseers and workers interacted with enslaved Africans daily, and language naturally blended over time. That's why some Jamaican phrases can sound strangely familiar to someone from Scotland. In fact, linguists have found dozens of shared patterns in speech, something most people don't realize. Jamaica and Scottish accent sometimes sounds familiar. This is the part that blows people's mind. Jamaica and Scotland both use St. Andrew's cross, an X-shaped diagonal cross. The difference? Jamaica uses gold, black and green, and Scotland uses white and blue. But the design? Almost identical. And here is where it gets interesting. St. Andrew is the patron saint of both Scotland and Jamaica. That's not a coincidence. It's part of the shared history that connects the two nations. When you look closer, the influences didn't just stop at names and accents. Scottish musical traditions, especially the use of strong rhythms, storytelling and call and response patterns, blended with African traditions in Jamaica. Some historians argue that Scottish folk rhythms indirectly helped shape early Jamaican music forms that later evolved into instrumental, ska, and reggae. Of course, African culture remains the heart of Jamaican identity, but Scotland left its fingerprint in subtle ways that still show today. Even certain Jamaican proverbs and sayings have distant Scottish roots. The deeper you dig, the more surprising it becomes. Many Jamaicans living abroad, especially in the UK and in Canada, are shocked when they discover their last names, local customs, or even the way their grandparents spoke have Scottish origin. On the other side, many Scottish people are stunned to learn just how influential their ancestors were in shaping Jamaica's cultural landscape. It's a historical connection hidden in plain sight. So the next time you hear a Jamaican speak, or you spot the flag, or you meet someone from Jamaica with a Scottish surname, remember, these two places, separated by thousands of miles, share a deep and fascinating connection. And if you enjoyed learning something new today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more cultural stories from around the world. Thanks for watching, and drop a comment telling us which part surprised you the most.